time.
Robert,
Hello,
hello.
Robert.
Hello. I received your email, but I will still reply.
Okay, you saw my email. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was really busy last 2 days.
So money was sent, but I didn't got your last few emails.
I sent you more, I guess.
Yeah,
Actually, I noticed that there was some problems with sending my emails from my X3's account to Germany.
Yeah.
I don't know why. So I'm using my
because it's
Gmail.
Russian.
No, I've never been Russian. I'm sorry. I'm Belarusian, and it's a big difference.
You sound Russian.
And I speak Belarusian, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so probably then after the course, then just one question then from my side then.
Okay. All right. So Victor is not here. So I will present your talk right now. Please meet Mr. Shree Phadnis from India.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
He is a Chief Technology Officer of Trees Asia, and also collaborates with Gentrees LLC, as you probably all know, the company. And he has a long experience with trees, and I already know Shree for many, many years, probably 20 years or something. Yeah. So I'm really happy to present him and announce his presentation today, which is called MetaLens, from Tradeoffs to Solutions. The webinar will take 1 hour and includes presentation, and well, there are 5 minutes will be left at the end of the hour for questions. So please prepare your questions, and well, I wish you very good webinar and very nice presentation. Please, Shree, the floor is yours. The floor is yours.
I just share my screen. Share. I have to go to desktop. Share my desktop. Go to this presentation. Minimize this. Okay. Is the screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so as Valerie talked about it, it's from trade-off to solutions, but it's a very interesting topic because I couldn't put some good words to it, so we decided to put it from this point of view because while it's going to be obviously about trees and something to do with AI and so on, but trade-offs result to solutions is something that we all trees fraternity know, and we know it by heart. The problem is the others out there don't know, or even if they know, they acknowledge it, but they don't work on it. So the whole concept of this is about how do we turn these contradictions, how do we turn these so-called trade-offs into something that is implementable, something that can be done by the organization tomorrow, can be done by the organization today. So it's like, because the need of the hour is today. So the whole concept is now, how can we use trees, Socratic questioning, AI orchestration, while I only mentioned these 3 here, but as we go forward, you'll see quite a few other things which are also going to be, I'm just going to scratch the surface about it, but we will understand them in terms of how it works. Going further quickly, the whole structure is, I'm just going to spend some time on the slides, approximately 20 minutes or so. Then I'm going to go to a live demo, and from there, we will go further ahead. Why does the slide not change?
Click on the screen and then click on the screen.
Click on the screen. Okay. Okay. So very simple question first is, why do capable teams still get stuck? And we all know it is rarely an issue of intelligence. In fact, our experience, and I'm sure most of you over here have been working with multiple projects, and you would have experienced many people on the other side when they are working. They are very intelligent, they are very good domain experts, but they somehow fail. And within threes fraternity, we all know that the biggest problem is always about problem framing. So that's a known fact. So it's unstable problem framing, which is very clear. We all know about it. And incidentally, all our threes analytic tools that we utilize are actually nothing but they are all about changing the problem framings from multiple perspectives, creating problems which were probably hidden, unseen from different perspectives, and so on and so forth, that we fundamentally talk about, which results in giving us trade-offs, and then we try to solve them and go forward. The whole problem then is decisions tend to reopen. And I don't know whether you've ever experienced this, that the same problem once fixed, after 1 year again comes back, again comes back, again comes back, and then it's like a ghost which just doesn't go away. Very often than not, organizations in today's world have been trying to work with AI. Incidentally, there have been many experiments associated with using AI. For example, Matri's official itself has a level 1 course with AI, which is there, and so on and so forth. Can be fluent, but is often ungrounded. Why ungrounded? We will talk about it, what happens, and so on and so forth. Single strike answers sound convincing until they become testable, and then you realize, oh, it's all crap. Second is second order effects. Nobody looks at, we know we all talk about it in threes all the time, that the biggest catch is always in the secondary problems that we identify after the solutions are identified. But the problem is now the secondary problems, if they are not seen upfront and not analyzed upfront and not looked upfront, it can become a bigger problem. And in reality, it is a big issue that happens that people fail to look at, as a result of which there is a problem. So what is it that we are going to look at today is nothing but how is it possible for us to get this clarity very easy, very fast, with perfect scope. I wouldn't say perfect, but near perfect. Assumptions, tensions, evidence, the smallest, safest next test that organizations can conduct so that they can execute their projects or solve their problems. And now, when I'm talking about projects, fundamentally because it is all developed from threes, it was created for technical problem solving, but during the journey we realized that it works for everything. So I'm going to focus on the technical aspect of it only right now, but later on we will talk about how it can get used in multiple areas. So now, why does threes and LLMs still disappoint in practice? And pardon the word, because being threes experts, this sounds, attacking to us, especially when somebody tells me threes is not working, I get very disappointed. I still remember one company, they told me, you know what, we tried threes, it didn't work. I said, who told you threes solve problems? Threes never solve problems. It is human beings who solve problems. Threes only guide human beings. It means that you are useless. But the fact of the day remains that they will keep doing this. Why? Number one, while it is great in theory, it's got everything which is available with it. But the biggest issue of it is, number one, if you are training people and doing it and they are doing it, the cycle is super long. I keep telling, sometimes I tell people 2 years, but if you ask me, even today, I think I began my three journey 2006. So it's 20 years of my journey. And I still feel that there is more to be done. There is something more to be learned. There is something more to be understood, which is there. So it is sometimes too deep because of the simple reason is that threes fundamentally, and that is my opinion, and I'm sure you all would have probably shared it, it is actually nothing but a thinking framework rather than a tool network. People look at it like a tool and talk about tools and processes, but fundamentally it's a thinking framework. And I was lucky enough to be exposed to multiple threes masters in trading. So I got a training right from Boris Lotin. I learned from Valerie. I learned from Simon. I learned from Oleg. I learned from Alex. I learned from Nikolai Komenko. And I do not know how many of you would have probably heard of him and his concept of OTSM3s, which was there, which fundamentally was the first insight that I got, that threes is nothing but it's about thinking frameworks. And that's exactly which changed a lot of things in this particular session. While I'm not mentioning OTSM anywhere, but it is embedded in a very, very big manner. So what happens is that this is great. It resolves, but now you can resolve, I can resolve. So there are so many times cases where organizations keep telling me, you are brilliant, you are solving, and I say, I am not brilliant. It is just that I've been using threes for so long that I can see the contradiction and I can give you a quick recommendation. And it probably works. Almost 80-90% of the time. Sometimes when I walk through plants and we give quick solutions, they work to such an extent that Narayan keeps telling me, stop doing it. We will not get business. I said, I do not know. I can't stop doing it because it's a natural insight that comes and I cannot stop myself from not exposing it. Going further, LLMs are great, but their variations are really crazy. So what happens? Good prompts do not deserve a structure across time. So they don't maintain the structures. They keep changing. Three's insight stays expert dependent and episodic. I do not know whether you have, as experts, have experienced it. Same problem. You work today, you work 4 days later. I'm sure your directions will change. You will get some new insights. You might find that, oh, we missed this possible cause. And that is why I keep telling, even in all my trading sessions, the toughest tool in threes is cause and effect chain analysis. It is the easiest to explain. It takes me no more than 10 minutes, but it is the toughest to master because the more you keep working with it, the more you keep realizing we didn't do this, we didn't do this, we didn't do this, and it keeps going on. Workflow friction makes this repetition even more difficult. So now what organization feels is low retention. Number one, people take a long time to learn. Number two, the same people who are learning, they leave the organization and go away. Again, organizations no longer want it. When they come towards us for consulting, let's say for Gen3s, the biggest problem is, to begin with, they ask us the question, will we learn? And we tell them, no, you have outsourced the problem to us. It is our work. We will directly give you stage gate wise options which are there that you will receive. So they take it, sometimes accept it, sometimes they feel, okay, we will explore it and so on and so forth. Sometimes we don't know what they do with it, which is there. But the truth is, to be very frank, what is the amount of repeat business that we keep getting from the same client for multiple types of projects? Answer is very few. Very few companies keep coming back repeatedly. So if you have a problem, they will come back to us. No. And the primary reason is not because of the solutions, is basically the value that they see with respect to the cost which is there and what they get in a long term which is there. Super high facilitation dependence is very, very critical, especially in client. That is why there is a golden rule that I have already told within Threes Asia. So is this that if, for example, one of our consultants is gone to a client and doing training, we keep telling him start till end, client should see no other consultant than you, because the moment he sees somebody else, and if they like something about that somebody else, we are in a big soup, because now the client starts insisting we need this consultant only. And it's obviously, it's not practical that we could have the same consultant doing multiple places. Weak ROI visibility, and biggest problem, poor transfer into everyday work. So the biggest bottom line is the winning model is shifting now from hire an expert ones to embed governed inventive reasoning so that organization can solve problems repeatedly and fast. That's again critical. Now, when you look at only AI, biggest problems in AI, assumptions are always invisible. Traceability is weak. Prompt drift keeps changing. fluency can be mistaken for validity. So what do people do? For example, there is a completely brand new engineering science which came, which was prompt engineering, and that's exactly what Matri's official also started doing. But this is where when I was developing this methodology, I challenged it and I said there should ideally be nothing called as prompt engineering. It should be trimmed. It is a complete corrective task from our tree's perspective. So what it is doing is you're speaking to a machine because the machine doesn't understand your intent. You're teaching the human being to speak in a machine language. Rather, it should have been the opposite way. The machine should have learned to understand the human and do it accordingly. But unfortunately, the world went in that path, and maybe they are still working with it. But we figured out a way how we don't have to do it anymore. Next is tool only, expert only, which is very clear. Facilitation method sits outside. This is another important aspect. Whenever we as trees consultant go, it is like a trees project. It is outside of their work. They never view it like their own project as a daily routine project that they are doing. Whereas actually speaking, it is their day-to-day work that they are doing. It is their day-to-day R&D task that they're probably doing. Rigor, of course, varies by person and context, and continuity is again weak. So what we are trying to do is add this missing operating layer. That is governed framing, explicit evidence, method routing, critique, and artifact-ready outputs. That's exactly the gap that we identified that we are trying to fundamentally fix. So now what does it do? It is not about more prompting, but it's a governed layer that sits over top of any NLM. It can be ChatGPT, Perplexity, you name, take all, Gemini, take whatever you want. It will sit over it. What does it do? It smartly will frame goal, success, scope, constraints. It will lock evidences, facts, assumptions, unknowns. Then it will route to the most appropriate method, which is there. There can be a plethora of methods we have got. It has got internal critiques. So, for example, just to give an example, one of the internal critiques is based on critical thinking. So, if you're aware about critical thinking, where you have got thinking comprising of 7 parts, and there are 10 different standards by virtue of which the depth of thinking can be measured. Something like depth, clarity, breadth, width, and so on and so forth. Similarly, there is one more method of critique which is available within Three's fraternity, wherein I think the lady named Rubina. Is it a lady by any chance, Valerie? Because I really don't. But the name sounds lady. Rubina. She got her Three's masters in 2013.
Yes. She is Natalia Rubina. She's a lady.
Natalia, I'm assuming it's a lady. So, but the reason is, I don't know how many people are even aware about it, but she has created a beautiful technique in Threes, which is based on the very simple assumption that if Aries is considered as the logic of powerful thinking, it should be reviewed, and we could create a tool and a methodology out of it for reviewing trainees of Threes to check whether they are learning something good or bad. So, in other words, whenever you teach something, how do you know whether a person has understood Threes and learned Threes? So, she created techniques and methods and rubrics to measure that aspect of it. The only difference I did was very simple. For me, it is no longer a human being, it is the machine. The machine is doing the thinking. It's not thinking, it is giving an output, which is there. But I am considering it as thinking, and let me critique it according to that rubric and figure out what is good, what is bad, and improve the machine in delivering better outputs. So these are some embedded insights that are probably there, but this is the whole flow that we fundamentally follow. And how does it work? With simple diagnose, which will be all about same way. Very simple. We take analytic phase, then we solve the problem, and then we fundamentally go to the conceptual stage, which is proof. So it's exactly the same part which is there. Now, why typical LLM works versus what happens here? Typical LLM raw, ask, draft answer, manual cleanup, decision risk. Here, the raw ask is converted into a structured input spec based upon certain trees logics that have been given to it, certain thinking logics provided to it, based on which what the LLM actually get is not what the raw input the human being fed, but is an input that was created from here. It results in a method route which is there. It has got some audit guidelines inbuilt within it, again based on trees and other thinking methods. And more importantly, it also has a loop. So what you see here as a linear is actually non-linear because it can go back at multiple places which are there. And finally, only when stability is reached, and what is defined as stability is when in answers the meaning doesn't change, or the same contradiction after multiple different route paths is remaining constant. It doesn't change anymore. It is an indicator that you have hit, in our language, the so-called root contradiction, which is there, that if solved might help resolve the entire situation. And that is what we can focus and solve on to go to decision outputs. So how does it work? Because the tool was designed, and to be very frank, it was born from a project that we undertook for a client. We underestimated it very badly, and we committed to that project at a very low cost, and we were struggling with that project. And I decided, let me try LLM. But when we tried these LLMs, rather than getting good results with it, I was frustrated with it. Because while it did certain things very good, but I had to do too much of rethinking on what it has done, cleanups, clean out things, and so on and so forth. Finally, it resulted in finding out ways, and this is what evolved into this product that we are talking about, which is purely based and developed with trees, and it works with trees. And it also improves not only LLM, but today it is capable to improve trees by itself also. So we'll talk about it a bit later. So for example, each mode can be normal, like low risk tasks, do it. Deep mode is slightly more ambiguous. Full rigor is when you're really doing tough, challenging work, which is there. And it has got a set of flowcharts within it that it works with. During the process, we figured out that AI failure is structural, not accidental. So we literally built, what you see over here is a fraction of the cause and effect. So it's actually an advanced cause and effect chain, which is there, which helped us to identify key problems. We took each key problem and developed solutions for it and kept working forward, which is there. But basically what we are trying to communicate is treat hallucination as a process failure. The moment you start doing it, you suddenly start realizing that there can be solutions that from trees we can put in over there. It doesn't change LLM, but it changes the output that human beings will receive from an LLM. And what is important is that, because ultimately humans don't want LLM, human wants an output that creates value for them. So what does it do? We are going to focus on this, where we'll say how does a problem restatement happen, how does a contradiction happen, and so on and so forth. So I will demonstrate it with some tools which are there in a live demo. And the way we keep doing it is literally since I think January, Narayan and me have been delivering around minimum one such 1 hour session with a client. And every single time we have taken, the client who is asked, give us a problem statement of yours, let it be vague, don't give any details to us. And second thing we tell them is that while we are going to do, one of you at your end, please open ChatGPT, put the same problem that we are doing, put the same prompts we are putting in, look at the outputs, look at the outputs here, you compare what is happening, then decide. Our personal experience is every single, I'm repeating, every single client was blown away and they openly stated what this does is something unusual. This is not what we are getting. It is completely different. And they have also moved towards the next sales cycles and so on and so forth, which is theirs and not getting into that aspect. But now, what is important as a threes group we are together? For mature threes teams, for us, the next step is it is no longer going to be threes. There is no future in the manual threes that we are doing, that we are teaching, that we are training. It is dying. Every one of you is probably a consultant, would have experienced the sales declining, the cycles increasing, customers not demanding more, repeat customers going down, so on and so forth. The war happening now is probably going to make it even worse. So what happens now is LLM is definitely by itself not going to work. The thing that many people have been attempting is writing prompts which are there that will use LLM. So, for example, let me write a prompt for function analysis. So, I will take function analysis rules, put it down, make it in a prompt in LLM and do it. Might seem okay, but will never meet the objective because it doesn't govern the LLM. So, what is the future is governed inventive reasoning, wherein this is the core. This adds this, but also instability. So, what do? The missing layer is governed reasoning in flow. In fact, from a standard solution point of view, it is the human and the LLM. There is an insufficient functionality happening between the two, which is there. The standard solution is simple. Put something in between them, which interfaces with the human and interfaces with the other side of the LLM. And this is this governed reasoning layer. So value will come from repeatability, auditability, and testability because not only better answers matter, but now organizations want better decision package. See, this is very interesting. A lot of times, I tell you the other day, we had shared a very, very primitive prompt that we had developed originally with Victor. And Victor and Naran were discussing. And Victor then said that, he tried, but for one of his problems that he had solved, he said, I had to struggle a bit, but it did give me the answer which was there. So Naran asked him just one simple question. Did it ever hallucinate? Did it ever deviate? Did it give you more directions? Were those directions feasible and viable? And literally, for every single answer, Victor said yes, it was perfect. The next question was what organizations want is that. Because there is nothing called as a perfect answer. See, the biggest problem with us three experts is that when we design and develop answers, we get caught in our own mental inertia, believing that that is the best answer possible. While we keep telling people that there is nothing called as best answer. Because ideality is just an illusion. So it is just a guiding path. But the whole part of it is this, that this is what matters to organizations which are there rather than best answer, because there is nothing called as best answer which sits there. Now, these are just backup slides that I kept. So I'm going to go down straight to the part of trying to show you what exactly happens, how does it typically work, and so on. Now, in order to save time, what I have done is there are one or two tasks which initially take time. So, for example, remember I told you about governing. So, look at it. This is the command that I gave for governing. For example, control, inline, eval on, rigor always. So, there is what is inline, what is evaluation, evaluations, rigor, etc. has been defined in its backend. Deep strict is a mode which will typically go publish gate summary, publish the evaluations, publish scores, publish the fractal footer, publish why we stopped reasoning, and so on. Use visible is it will show you what is happening at each step, which is there, and why it skipped it, and so on. If any required marker is missing, treat the answer as incomplete and repair before finalizing. So, this is the command. Of course, it has been programmed at the back. The moment I enter it, what you see here is the output. Understood. I am locking those controls for this turn and subsequent task work. Since you have not given a substantiative problem yet, I will apply the visible shell and mark execution as control only. Notice roadmap NA method ID. So this has got no roadmap, no method. Now what it does, P0 is all about, it will clarify goals. Apply your requested control surface exactly for the future task is the goal. It will put scope, control activation only. No substantiative problem has been asked yet. That's what it is stating. Constraints, deep, strict, inline, eval on, rigor always, publish gate. So notice all these constraints are what you have to adhere to. What success looks like. Future answers include the required markers, and if one is missing, repair before finalizing. P1, what is the P1, P1B, and so on? Outcome changing questions. It will ask in case there is some questions that are absolutely mandatory that can change outcome. It will ask you that question based on Socratic thinking. And once you enter, it will move. Otherwise, it will skip. Like in this case, skip because context already suffices. This is a control directive, not a task. P1B, additional questions skip for the same reason. Draft, active controls acknowledged and adapted. Are these? Critique will be no substantiative task content to analyze, required markers present, and so on. So whatever critique guidelines we have put, it is just publishing it out over here. P4 is stop and go. So it will go with integrity and canon. So it uses canonical structures wherein the entire tree's body of knowledge has been given to it in canonical forms. So when I mention strict as a word, it automatically defaults to canon and is instructed to follow the canon instructions to the core. Epistemic, in case not aware about, so it has got an epistemic a thinking engine that we have put in over there, and a hermeneutic thinking engine also put in over there, and it evaluates from hermeneutic and epistemic engines. CT is critical thinking, all its fundamental concepts and standards. OTSM thinking and Socratic thinking is also put in over here in Gates, is applied at the back end. In fact, the whole prompt design is based on the OTSM axioms. Because these axioms of OTSM turned out to be brilliant for creating invariants that can stop the drifting of the LLM models. So it was actually very interesting because the axioms, when human beings are told to apply it, it sounds so philosophical. But when machine follows it, it does a great job of it. And I said, wow, maybe if only Nikolai would have been alive to see in today's world how OTSM could actually serve a purpose for future mankind in a different manner. Evaluation wise, again, completeness, canon, utility, representation. It does scores of what you see, iterations is nothing but how many times internally it had to do iterations before arriving at a stable final output. which is there. So per pass scores, P2, P3, so on, final weighted total pass, lowest criterion before, after, critical risks that it identified, which it fixed, and so on. And finally, the stop reason is nothing but it is unstable. So what you see is, if you go back to the slide, remember, I take you back to this aspect of the slide, which was what? Oh, sorry, not this. Here. Yes, problem statement and so on. What are the assumptions and so on. So if you look at the ones which we talked about here, sorry. Yeah, see, assumptions, traceability, prompt drift, fluency, all got taken care of with this particular aspect that I just now showed to you. Now, going further, this was, I will not name the company. This was yesterday. There was a call which Narayan participated in with a company. And in their live demonstration, they gave this. I want to eliminate bubble formation from molding process. The molding process is two-part silicon rubber process, rubber casting. That's what was given only. Now, what I'm demonstrating, I only added this ahead because now, for those of you who are aware about one of the tools of OTSM3s is element name of the feature and value. Interestingly, this tool is one of the backbones of making of this whole prompt. What you see, ENV selector is now. Problems can be of many kinds. I'll tell you, it happened to one of our clients where we sold the product. It was, we were working with it. We were doing training to them. And during training, we were guiding them on steps to execute for the project. The question the CEO asked is, but what if we do not know what to do? We do not know the steps. You are an expert in trees, so you can do this, then use this tool, then use this tool, then use this tool. You are doing it. But I am unknown. I don't know trees, how to do it. And we solved this problem using ENV, where all what we did is every single tool, the definition of tool was created, its purpose was created, and we then went and made an ENV model. So now, depending upon the wording of the task that you provide, I gave it a structure to decompose it, map that structure to the goals which are there, and create roadmaps which can be suitable for any type of problem based upon the input you provide. So in this case, I said use ENV selector. It's called an ENV selector to identify the roadmap to solve. And look at it, what it did. I'm identifying the canonical selector route, exact roadmap ID from your loaded manifest and registry. I will map your bubble problem into the ENV problem signature before proposing the solving path. I have route candidates narrowed. This is clearly process improvement problem, but the explicit eliminate bubbles wording also creates a contradiction escalation branch. I'm pulling the exact anchored passages so the selector choice and its alternatives are canon grounded rather than inferred. Roadmap is blah blah blah. Method is roadmap gen3 is tool select. It goes forward with more deep strict now overlays. It has automatically identified engineering. Had the problem been strategy, it would have pulled out strategy. HR, it would have pulled out HR. It would apply the decomposition based on HR or strategy to select appropriate paths. ENV selector, proc for contradictions, absolute initial, and now it goes, look at it, goal. Use ENV selector to choose right roadmap for eliminating bubble in a two-part. Is this what you want to do? Yes. Scope, route selection, not a full root cause diagnosis yet. Perfect. Constraints, deep strict selector first, fail close. This is what we want you to do, which is correct. Anti-feed, we would change the choice. It must consult, blah, blah, blah. So that's nothing but inputs. Now it says skipped because context suffices. Reason you gave the defect process type request. Additional skip for the same reason. Selector output, problem signature, part silicon object molding, stage current process defect reduction, outcome eliminate or sharply reduce bubble, evidence recurring bubbles are present, exact bubble location, timing, cause not yet specified. So imagine if I am the customer, I was with the customer, I will say, guys, please give me this if you want to further go on working on your project. Contradiction status not yet explicit. Risk medium to high because bubbles usually hit high yield, surface quality, dimensional integrity, time horizon present near term, hierarchy focus. It has identified the flow, material mix, mixing, degassing, mold filtering, venting, cure. Opposition process must fill the mold and cure reliably, but trapped or generated gas remains in the system. Looks to be an opposition. Uncertainty is medium because a lot of information is not provided. Implementation readiness, diagnostic to improvement. Now it goes best fit. Gen 3's tech process improve. Why this is the best fit in the registry? This root's purpose is to improve technological process by MPV, functional structural analysis, benchmarking logic. It is when to choose is process improvement project and its anti-fit is product architecture that matches your ask closely. You are not redesigning the product, you are improving the manufacturing process. Its neighborhood methods are process function analysis strict. Gen 3's value consulting roadmaps could also are very close by. Primary execution in that route start with process function analysis, process trimming, process improvement because it hints from here. Alternative one, this is your first operational tool. If you want to begin immediately, quickest first move is to map the real sequence, which is this. In not different project class, it is the first concrete tool in your tool. Next, alternative two. Why not first? This branch becomes primary when there is an explicit contradiction or inventive impasse. If your real issue is something more like more vacuum removes bubbles but damages cycle time, or lower viscosity removes bubble but hurts, then maybe we could have taken a contradiction quick approach to get some quick answers. Anti-fit, why not others? So it gives an explanation. Interestingly, not CCA is the primary route. CCA is more appropriate when the ask is explicitly why this defect is happening. You have asked for the roadmap to solve the process defect. So CCA is likely sub-tool, not the main route. What would change? Recommended tool chain start with this process, PROCFA, then CCA, then contradiction, or if only something fails as a last resort. This is the strongest competing interpretation which is there. It patches it, selector modes, use this roadmap stack which is there, and goes for the first tool, PROCFA strict, which is there, gate summary, integrity pass route, epistemic, and so on and so forth. Completeness pass. It has internally done two iterations. Route one was route narrowed to tech process versus contradiction. This is the pass two. Lowest criterion before was 7. After internal loops, it has improved to 9. Critical risk opened was 1, and it was also closed. Fractal footer is this. Reason it is stopping is stable. So now I will say, okay, let's begin. Let's start. First step only. So I'm only going to do the first step. Now look at it. I'm not going to do any prompt engineering, detailing, and so on. I'm just going to converse with it with normal language. In fact, normally even I put very short sentences like next, okay, yes, even that is fine. So notice again, I'm reducing this to a single operational step under the selected roadmap, pulling the exact canon anchors for that step. So we keep it strict and actionable. So first, what it's doing is it is going back and identifying the appropriate canon that it has to follow. And then it will start working along that line. So this is exactly where I did the first two steps and kept, because it sometimes can take time because of the simple fact that it prioritizes quality and accuracy far greater than speed of output. So the whole thing, now notice, goal, start bubble elimination work with one step only. Scope, only the first operationable step. Constraints, two-part silicon rubber molding, rubber casting process, no jumping to solutions. The selected roadmap is for process improvement projects and the neighborhood is proc fast. Strict success, we end this turn with clean defect frame for the process because the roadmap skeleton begins with frame the task and constraints, and then we go forward. So outcome changing question skip because you asked for one step only and the context is enough to start. That is why it did not. So process step is, these are the steps: current setting, bubble senior, bubble location, bubble size, bubble count, when was it first visible. So the client can now just go ahead, put this information, add these 6 field constraints underneath the table: resin system, silicon grade, viscosity, mix ratio, pot life, degassing method and time, mold geometry, defect priority. Output of this step is this. Critique: the main risk was jumping too early into causes like entrapped air, air moisture, and blah, blah, blah. So stop after step one, reply with the fill table. I will use only that to do the next step, which is there. And this is typically what it is done. It's evaluation, it is its typical score, and this is what it is. So I will say, okay, let's go ahead, and I'm going to say make assumptions as of now and make PROCFA. So, because we don't have data, but had it been a real client, they could have easily got this information. And this is where maybe to get information, they might take 2 days, 3 days, or a week. So the actual project time might still be maybe 1 month, 1.5 months. But if you look at it in terms of quick actionable outputs, they will get immediate actions in terms of what needs to happen. So I have enough context to proceed without questions. I am pulling the exact PROCFA anchors. I will build the first pass process model using clearly labeled assumptions so we can keep moving forward. So I found the strict PROCFA schema. And to do all this work that it's doing right now, there is no internet. Everything is on its own knowledge base. Only wherever necessary to collect information for process flow, etc., and so on, it went and took information from the internet. Otherwise, it is primarily working with very specific trees knowledge provided to it. And the specific tree knowledge has been distilled. What I mean by distill, for example, I can talk about it. It has got, as we go, you will see this, why it has got CECA. I have purposely added into it Yerz's trees master inputs of advanced CECA into it, because it was a clear advancement which was there, and only that has been provided into it, because at the end of the CECA, the primary objective is eliminate the need for a human being to select the potential cause to solve. Because moment you leave it to a human, he could choose some contradiction, and it might probably not be the best one to resolve. So it has got some of such tools which are available into it. So I have selected tools very carefully in building the entire structure. See, for example, you can see near 1456 and so on. It's nothing but page number 1456. It has got close to 4,500 pages right now, which it is able to refer to work on. And it contains all the body of knowledge, not only the level 3, but far beyond that also.
Shree, you have 5 minutes left
Yes,
for presentation.
I know it's silly. Let this process trimming come out and then again I can pause. So actually everybody can see what the process trimming comes out as. And then we can pause because I can do this and send it across to everybody as a report at the end.
Yeah.
This is the only problem with the 1 hour is this that it's entirely dependent on LLM time. So if LLM slows down, can't help. Come on, let's move now. I think he's got everything. And Prokfa is a long process step. That is why it takes a bit of time. Yeah, got it. So again, it will start goal, build a first pass, Prokfa for bubble formation, blah, blah, blah. What is the scope? Important. Assumptions and unknowns. You have blah, blah, blah. Mixing is manual or semi-manual, not known. Degassing exists, not known. Filling is gravity poor, not known. Mold vending. So notice it will clearly state what is it that is there. It is exact silicon grade, not known. Viscosity, pot life, which is there. Mold geometry, not known. All this is information. Root use, which is there, is from your confidence band will be medium because information is based on assumptions. Process step, operation, material, storage, which is there. It will go function, stabilize material properties, category, supporting function, parameter impacted, performance, normal, what is the cost, and so on and so forth. It keeps doing it. Vacuum, degassing. So you will start doing based on which it is done. Quick flow analysis. It will come down working diagnosis from Prokfa without jumping into CECA so-and-so. Critique path fix, everything it will do. Date summaries, I'm not going to reading into it. It has already done 2 iterations into it, which is there. And you can see over here, it has gone from 4 to 7. And as I told you, 7 is average. Reason is it has got so many assumptions into it that it cannot do a good job of it right now. But even when you go with this, it has done this work. And if I just say, okay, make CCA, it will currently, based on the assumptions, take it, go ahead, make a CECA. I will stop after the CECA is made. And principally, it can go and make advanced CECA, based on which it can identify contradictions, solve contradictions, work on function-oriented search, and which is something that we always recommend, which is not traditionally taught in Gen 3's based or in Matri's official related trainings. But I use it extensively because of the fact that it is a software now, which is the concept of 4 networks of OTSM, wherein Nikolai Khomenko strongly recommended that once you have finished developing all partial solutions, because all solutions are partial till you converge them into concepts. And he said the biggest mistake people do is they combine it immediately. But the correct approach is you should build networks of problems, network of contradictions, network of resources, and then network of partial solutions. Find out the converging node, which is the common part for everybody. Identify those converging nodes, because until those nodes are effectively solved, the problem can never be completely solved. So it's a very interesting insight, but the whole problem is that making those networks manually is impossible. You cannot do it. It will be maddening. No wonder people don't look at it, because in true sense, it is multi-screen thinking. Because now your contradiction is at a very deep level, your super system problems are at a different level, and you're still trying to make networks between them. And obviously identifying that node, which is critical. But for softwares or LLMs, it is a matter of just clicking a button. Wait, let it take 10 minutes. It doesn't matter. It is still faster than me manually doing it. So, for example, while this cause and effect chain gets published, I can pause here for getting questions. I'll start getting questions and I can answer them. Till then, this output will keep happening. So, any questions anybody has got, you can feel free to ask.
Yes, Stefan speaking. Shree,
Yes,
thank you
Stefan.
very much. I was wondering, so I understand that MetaLens and you show us F3. So it might be there might be different versions. Anyway, how many, if it is possible to answer this question,
Mhm.
how many man days did it take to develop MetaLens?
August last year.
Full time.
Till now. And it's still this, you can see here, F2, F3, there was one final, which was here. So principally, even in the F3, now it has reached a point where there is no body of knowledge of threes that is to be integrated. There is no capability to be put in over there. What is now balanced is the routing rules have to be fine-tuned slightly, and that fine-tuning is still on. It is not yet completed, but even in the current state, even if I give it to a client, it works. It is only I know what is not working. The client doesn't even know what's not working.
Okay.
So, for example, you can see here, you can see facts, assumptions. It's got all this. Now look at it. Target disadvantage, cause and effect chain map, with or logics and logics. Everything will happen over here. Logic note, classic will be with and or. Candidate root causes beyond direct control. Candidate key disadvantages. Key problems derived from CECA. The best current focus. This means it is this. Most likely top three disadvantages are these. Best next step is this. The gate summary is this. This is what is the total output. And while I answer another question, I'll give it, make a CECA. So now from the CECA, develop the advanced version. So next question we can take, but what you said is right, it does take time. Because governance is something where you are trying to govern this LLM, which is stochastic in nature. A number of times, in spite of multiple regressions that we do, or evaluation harnesses that we build, and simulations that we build, it is only in real time that we are actually sometimes getting some unusual deviations from the governing path, and they have to be then found out and plugged. So it takes some time, but it has been as long as that. So August till now. But I can say that we hit a more or less stable version somewhere in January. And now
So
from
Shree, excuse me. So it is about 5-6 months of work.
yes.
It was you, one man?
One man army. One man army, almost full time working only on it.
Okay.
Very,
Thank
very
you.
intermediately, yes. Intermediately, a few consulting sessions here and there, but you might say 90% of the time working on it.
Okay.
And hours per day might be not 8, could be 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I don't know. I don't count. Because when you work on development, unfortunately, you get so much caught in it that you don't even realize what the time is.
Yeah. What is the cost of using MetaLens? The price?
It is extremely low. Naren, what is the current cost you put it at?
Okay. See, we are not giving as of now to individuals, but
Individuals are not given. Yeah.
for corporate, the international pricing happens to be somewhere between 35,000 to 40,000 euros for yearly license, and there is no number of license or there's a number of cap to the licenses. Anybody and everybody
It's
in the
for the whole
organization can
company.
use it. It's for the whole company. For example, if an X company has say 10,000 employees, all 10,000 employees can start using this.
So the price is for a license about 15.
Pardon me? 15?
Well,
No.
15,000, you
No,
said?
no. It's somewhere between 35,000 to 45,000 euros for an entire year.
Okay.
And individuals, we are not yet giving it, but yeah, we will be starting the individual licenses and for also consultants to use it going further.
Okay.
But we are still thinking, because our primary business model right now is only companies. And the business model is simple. We are not going on making APIs and softwares and so on and so forth. It's as simple as this. I have the raw prompt. Whichever company signs up for us, which is there, we sign NDAs with them, and we go and install the prompt in their server. So it is a very simple tenant is theirs, and our prompt resides inside that. That's it.
We have a question
Yeah.
from Robert on the chat.
On the chat, wait, I'm not seeing it. Where is Zoom gone? Yeah.
My question is just about then, it looks like a custom GPT that you did there, and you added some truth material to it then. So how big is this system prompt you wrote there?
Okay. Robert.
How much material and which form did you add to it?
Okay. Let me help you. Three's material works at the task level. So again, Three's material works at the task level. You need to put in invariants in such a way to govern the LLM. These invariants are created using Threes. So what you see over here, for example, see, moment I just said make CCA, it automatically takes what is the goal, what is the thing, and so on. It will start giving what is an assumption, what is there, and so on and so forth. The invariants are put, which fundamentally the LLM originally has deviated and given, but this fellow has blocked it and thrown it out. So the whole concept of the prompt is Threes is the tool that helped in building the invariants, and Threes later on is also the tool that helps in solving the problem. So I hope this answers the question, because it's like it is omnipresent everywhere. See, for example, here, look, it has used this process. It's gone ahead. See, this is a model. It is identified what is there, based on which the ACA logic structure. This is the interpretation. This is the quality assessment that is there. This is the structural weakness. These are the candidate disadvantages. Why these four? And completeness, minimality check. So now this is not Trees. This is other invariants that are being created for you to go forward with. And then what it adds beyond is this. And now it starts going, top actionable is this. V12, 21, and this, which is there. These are micro tests that you can go forward. This is borrowed from design thinking, because many times when you do micro tests, you get confirmations on things and you can proceed forward. And you will also get things like, what will change my mind? So you can run these tests, get this, and do it. So notice over here, Threes is one part. It is a major part for sure, but there are many other parts also into it. So here, your current best ACSA says bubble defect is primarily driven by 4 removable vulnerabilities: air ingesting, mixing, blah, 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 so and so, so and so, and so and so remains as this. This is the evaluation it has done. Total so many iterations it has done. Notice it is giving a score of 9 in spite of the assumptions, telling me I have very high confidence about these being potential root causes in the problem. Of course, if I put in the data, it will make it even much more precise and I can go forward to it. And now it's like a normal. So, for example, now we have got key problem. So, what we will say, okay, use FOS. I don't have to do anything. Use FOS. That's it. No more prompt engineering required. I just say use FOS. That's it. You just use some key trees terminology like FOS, which is there, or TSE, or let's take CECA, or advanced CECA, or physical contradiction. Are terminologies which are there. People just need to be aware about them. They need to know what it does, which is there, but they don't need to do an FOS themselves. That will be done for them. But they need to understand what is an FOS and why do we use it. So it makes the role for the user very easy. Now, if somebody wants to learn FOS, let's take, I want to learn about trees. You will be surprised. You just have to ask the question over here. For example, when you ask that trees, so let this get completed, and I'll show you. If I ask a very simple question, how much amount of trees is used in designing the prompt? If I put this prompt, you will get an answer which is there. It will say yes, it is, because OTSM is one of the backbones of it. On which it is built, and then there is Gen 3's related stuff and other 3's related stuff, which is also in protocol or incorporated. But there are other stuffs also. But if you ask it, what is your capabilities? It fundamentally will say, I am a great governing structure. Because that is what it is. Its whole goal is governing, governing outputs effectively.
So as it is a custom GPT, how do you sell it then?
Oh, very simple. We don't give it to anybody. We don't publish it. We go to a company. So, for example, if you have a company, we will come to you in your server. We will install it like a custom GPT for you.
Okay, good.
And we will just have an SLA with you, which will be an agreement that you will not
GPT
share
store.
this with anybody.
Okay.
And that is the reason why it's not yet given to individuals.
Okay, gentlemen, we are about to finish. Maybe one last question.
Yes, Valerie.
I have one, yes, if I may, again.
Oh, sure, you can.
You can, you may.
Shree,
Yes.
have you tested MetaLens against some past projects
Yes.
to see
Yes.
the quality of output first?
Yes.
If it matches what you have done manually, and second,
it did.
And second, if it has exceeded
We have tested it against some of our projects that we've executed, and it met the requirement and it exceeded also, because it gave us some new insights that we had not seen before. That is one. Plus, the live asset test came that total right now 12 projects in live client environment have been executed by clients. And their CEOs have come on record and said, this is wow. We never expected to get results so fast, because the problems we have been struggling with have been for ages together.
Okay, what are the main, I don't know, 1, 2 MPVs of your product, of MetaLens, against what is already known in the trees sphere that makes that the CEO say, wow. What are the MPVs?
I will show you. I'll show you.
Is it speed?
Wait, I'll show you.
Efficiency?
No. We have got a full map of MPVs which are there. I'll show it to you in a picture. Give me a second. Aaron, do you have that picture with you?
I'm searching that picture. 1 second.
Because I don't know in my Mac how to get it. It's there in my phone.
Probably. Stefan, if not now, I can definitely share the list of MPVs
we can
in
share
the
it
form
with
of a
you,
picture to you. No problem.
which is there.
I've
But
shared
it
across
is
to you.
there. So there are a total of, yeah, I got it. But now how to share this? Wait, let me do share. If I do a copy.
And in fact, Stefan, while Shree is doing this, we also did a check of why did we lose certain clients for our manual risk consulting assignment. And it gave us some insight. When we spoke to the client, the insights proved to be correct.
It's very interesting. Right? In fact, what he's saying is not right. You know what? We had a client. Okay, we were working with that client, and later on, something happened, and the client did not pursue on the next stage gate, which was there. Why it is not coming? Narayan, if you have that, please share. Na? I'll share it with you
Yeah, share it with me.
because I have it over here. I can clearly, I got it.
But
Share it with me.
Here you
Share
go.
it with me.
Here you go.
maybe
Yeah,
it's not
and okay.
necessary. Maybe it's not necessary to look at your pre-tailored or already investigated
No.
list
I
of
tell you
MPVs. But my
yeah,
question was simple: one or
yeah.
two
It's
MP
the
advantages.
the biggest advantage is it offers is speed of decision making
Okay.
with
So speed.
accuracy and reliability. Yeah, with accuracy and reliability.
See my
Because
screen?
it is all mixed integrated with each other. In fact, that picture will show you that
You see my
how
screen?
the MPVs
Yes.
are linked with.
Yeah, I think you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Let me see in Zoom.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't.
visible.
Here it is. See what you see over here: integrity under uncertainty. And its MPVs are hallucination resistance, evidence discipline, citation anchor correctness, assumption explicitness. And it goes under one big bucket called integrity under uncertainty. The second is drift resistance, instruction fidelity, interpretation stability, inconsistency over turns. It goes to drift, which is there. Decision usefulness, limited constraint clarity, and so on, epistemic progress rate, and so on, system adequacy, multi-stakeholder fairness, method correctness, like trees, gen trees, OTSM, and NPV8, which is interaction efficiency. How much minimum questioning with the user it does, and yet it provides you reliable answers. As you saw right now, in spite of me mooting assumptions and looking at it, it only asked us 4 or 5 major questions to be filled rather than going through a huge list of questions which is there. And time to first useful output is another important one. And that is why we typically call it, it's a super thinking companion. The concept is, we even tell our clients, imagine you have hired a new person and this new person is MetaLens. The only advantage is this person can help every single employee of yours. And he's his thinking companion. It could be a CEO, it could be anybody. It's like a sounding board.
Thank you.
It has been used currently in industrial applications in academia. My son has been using it extensively in academia for writing proposals for grants. Which are there, and he's been getting them great results over there. He's been utilizing it for designing courses for the university work, for evaluating and providing feedback to students on the work that they are doing, and so on. So it has got great advantages in academia. You can identify, for example, if I say, can you help, I give a command, given trees body of knowledge, can you identify what are the future evolution trends of trees and what should be key research questions that need to be answered in order to progress trees? It will give me a complete bank of trees questions. And for each one, I can take and I can start my research and work on it and complete this research within 3 to 6 months. I no longer have to spend hours of anything on it, because but the biggest beauty is that it knows trees now, so it can identify the research problem, it can identify what is the current state, it can identify what is already published, what is not published, it can formulate this thesis. I can use trees tools for it to go forward. So for example, I even tested it out with Aries, and I was shocked when it did Aries exactly like a human being.
So
It was shocking.
You could use it to write your trees master thesis.
You won't believe it. I contacted Simon and told him immediately in December, tell me when to apply for trees master thesis. It is a matter of 4 days for me. I will just work with MetaLens and submit the thesis. It will write the thesis. I don't have to even write it.
Okay.
All right.
It's reached the point where it becomes like a big support. Of course, you have to still correct it in terms of, because it might not know the logic that I use when I coded something into it. But most of the work it can still do.
Shree, I can see how enthusiastic you about your tool.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, well, mostly gentlemen, we are about to finish. So I would like to thank you, Shree Phadnis, very much for his interesting presentation, right? And I hope that he continues and develops it even further to more success. And tomorrow video of this webinar would be available and placed on Matri's official website for public access. And I will send to everybody who has registered a link as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
Thanks.
you.
Thanks, Valerie.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry
Thanks,
for
Robert.
taking 10 minutes more time.
no problem. No problem.
Thank
It was very
you.
interesting. It was very interesting anyway. Okay, thank you very much once again. And
Yeah,
goodbye.
thank you.
Till next
Yeah,
time.
goodbye.
Thank you, and have a
Bye-bye.
wonderful
Bye-bye.
divine weekend ahead. Bye-bye. Take
Every
care.
day,
Yeah,
God
everybody
bless.
have a
Bye,
you
great
Robert.
day.
too.
Bye,
Yeah.
Stefan. Bye,
Yeah.
Stefan.
Thank
Bye,
Bye.
Robert.
you. Bye,
Bye. Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye, Valerie. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Harsha.
Bye.
Bye-bye.